Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Belgian Jasper. If this is your first time in the channel, hit subscribe right now. One of my favorite evolutions in the world of heavy metal in the last, let's say, decade or two is the resurgence of classic heavy metal. A ton of old school, iconic, underground 80s bands are finally being put back into the spotlight. And one of the people that is a driving factor behind this resurgence is Robin from the Blast from the Past festival. So yeah, it's time to talk to Robin and catch up on what's going on with the festival. All right, Robin.
Hey.
Big day today, or I should say big day yesterday. One of the bands making a big comeback on the festival in a few weeks is
Indeed.
Warhead, an iconic Belgian band, and they had a tryout last night that was organized by your team. How did that go?
Yes, we had a very nice evening yesterday. It was indeed Warhead's first time playing in, I think, about 30 years at least. So they had a very nice comeback. We had a packed LP club in the Anthem. It was literally sold out. We had lots of people coming from quite a distance to see this first time gig for Warhead, and yeah, reactions were very positive.
Cool Belgian raw speed metal band. I have their records. Fun band. Can't wait to see these guys. But it's a pretty cool lineup. We've got Sortilege in France. We've got Ostrogoth. Sortilege and Ostrogoth. Sortilege is the Ostrogoth of France, and Ostrogoth is Sortilege of Belgium. But beyond that, we've got Cyclone, Belgian's 80s thrash metal pride. We've got Picture from the Netherlands, Tokyo Blade. It's one of the bands on the lineup as well. I know this must have been a frustrating and a difficult addition for you to organize in the team, but I assume that you're also pretty proud of what you were able to pull together.
I think for us, we started organizing, or we had a couple of bands already set up in the beginning of 2019, and we're looking for more bands as suddenly Corona struck. So that gave us kind of the advantage at that moment that we could really think forward. Like, we shouldn't pick bands that come from Australia or New Zealand, for example. That's not the smartest decision. Even US heavy metal bands, Canadian, as much as we love them and as much as there are great options, not the ideal choice in these times. So what we mostly did is we had our big list of our own favorite bands that we wanted to see from Belgium, from Netherlands, France, UK, and you can tell in the lineup it's mostly European neighboring countries bands that are coming, and that also gives us a bit of that security. I think the furthest that we are going now is with Vulture's Vengeance, which are coming from Italy. So that one for us at the moment is the hardest one to tell. Are they going to get here? So it's always a bit difficult. They have their flights. Maybe all of a sudden their government tells them you're not allowed to go to Belgium. So always keeping fingers crossed. But indeed, it's been for that selection that we had of countries, like knowing we can only choose France, Belgium, maybe a few UK bands, but that's a bit more difficult with Brexit as well. So we can't fully book a 10-band new wave for British heavy metal revival thing with all UK bands. That would be a little too risky. So we have lots of great talent in Belgium, in the Netherlands, and France, and we picked our favorites.
So let's talk about those favorites of yours, because we see they're behind you. We see Cacophony record, we see a Demon album as well. I see Queensryche. There's a couple that you're blocking or I can't really make out, but either you are an extremely good looking 55-year-old or you discovered, vintage metal, let's call it, growing up. Where does this passion come from for you?
For me,
or are you really 55 years old and you were just at the scene at the time?
I'll take off the mask and suddenly I'm a lot older. For me, like I am now 30 years old, which is a bit in the middle of that, but I've been listening to it mostly coming from my parents. My parents used to be massive fans of old school heavy metal. They went to Heavy Sound. My mom,
the legendary festival in the Belgium. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. It's a festival we look up to as well. My mom teases me that she saw Cliff Burton there, that she saw Metallica with Cliff Burton. I'm ashamed to say that I am not old enough to have been there, but
yes, you were a twinkle in your father's eye at that point.
I think so. Yeah, but yeah, it's might be a genetical thing. It might be a thing that kind of, when you listen to it so much, even unconsciously, because it's kind of there in the house, you pick it up, and then you start yourself to listen to old classics. Then you go deep dive into the hidden gems, all the cool stuff. So that's where it started. We are basically 3 people with the Blast from the Past organization. So there's me, there's Kenny, and there's Nina, who is Kenny's girlfriend. And Kenny is basically so his parents are actually the ones that organized the first edition together with Kenny. And it was actually their wedding anniversary.
Oh, wow.
So they just wanted to have a party. I'm not sure if it's 25 years or something like that. Well, we're going to invite a couple of bands. We're going to have Ostrogoth. We're going to have Holocaust. Great lineup. I was there as well. And it kind of became a thing. And so I'm speaking for myself when I say it's coming from my parents. I speak for Kenny as well. It's a thing that's in the family.
Is there like the dream band that you really want to have on the festival at some point?
Well, we're definitely like trying to slowly build towards the more bigger classic bands. For me personally, I think Trust would be a great one to have. They are quite expensive though, because they are huge in France.
Right.
Not a little bit less in Belgium, but they do ask the same price as they ask in Belgium.
For sure.
Like they do in France, which is logical. But let's say at the moment they're a little beyond what we can offer for them.
Yeah.
But maybe one day. So I think the same with Russian band Aria. They are like basically the Russian Iron Maiden. And I think they might even be more popular than Iron Maiden in Russia itself.
I think so. Yeah.
Which is kind of the same mechanic working there. They're very expensive because they know what they're worth in their own country. But I hope definitely that one day we can get maybe Trust Area somewhere together. Who knows?
That would be pretty
on
amazing.
One big bill.
Absolutely. You seem very chill and relaxed, or is that just a facade and behind the mask it's like, what the hell's going on?
It's a bit of both, I think. I try to stay as calm as possible, but things are starting to get quite chaotic. So we are now Saturday, we are the 20th of November. Yep. Yesterday we had a few days ago, we had some new rules by the government as COVID numbers are not looking so very bright here at this exact moment. So we are expecting to have to adapt with the festival. For us, it's a thing, like we see lots of festivals similar to us here in Belgium that have cancelled the festival. They say it's too hard to do all the testings, to do all the checks, to have the face masks. We will 100% go for it, unless there is something that suddenly comes up.
It's time to make some fire!
So, Robin, where were we?
Yes, somewhere back in time, it became completely impossible. Like slowly, the regulations were getting stricter and stricter. Suddenly, we would have to limit the festival to about 400 people sitting, with about 700 tickets that had been sold. So it's hard to say like, this is half of you can come, the other half, sorry, you bought your ticket, but it's a no for you guys. So that became the thing where we had to say, yeah, sorry, but we'll postpone this thing and do it decently in April. You have to find a day for all those bands that still fits. And we came up with 9th of April. 3 bands had to go, and we have 3 new bands. One of them, I think the biggest one, and that's the most of pain in my personal heart, let's say, is Tokyo Blade. But we have Praying Mantis that will be filling up for them. We had Praying Mantis last time, and they put on a great show. So I'm sure they will do the same thing. They have a new album out, so it's going to be a different thing than last year. So we have some great stuff to look forward to. So we have Praying Mantis. We have Vulture's Vengeance had to drop out, and we have Vulture instead, which is really handy for the bill. We just had to cut off a little part.
Exactly.
And we have the new band. Vulture is great. They're more of a trashy kind of band, but that's a great thing to have on the festival.
Yeah, for sure.
And then we have Kev Riddles Baphoment that's also filling in. They will basically be bringing some original stuff from Angel Witch from the first album. So it's going to be real classic heavy metal, new wave British heavy metal, some legendary songs and albums that will be having a tribute.
Vulture definitely got, some hype with them. So I think might be a reason for a lot of people that hadn't purchased a ticket just yet. Definitely check it out. So what was the, with festivals, like there's a lot of things that you can't wait until the very last moment. So, we've seen a lot of festivals, like the big festivals, do online sales of like, here's the merch of this year that it was already made and, we have to get rid of it. What's the collateral damage there for you guys? What did you do to, balance out the issues?
Yeah, I think an important thing, like we were really lucky that regulations became bad at a moment where we had ordered our t-shirts, but they were not printed just yet. So we were able to halt all the printing of the merch, stuff like that. We have been doing some stuff, like in the summer we had a little summer bar that we did with everything blast themed, old school music playing, everything like that, just to have like a little bit of compensation for the festival that's been postponed for 2 or 3 times. So we've learned a lot doing this without even having an actual festival going on. So it's a really good exercise for us. So it's a hobby. It's a very time intensive one, but we do it because we love the music.
Are you starting to allow yourself to get excited, or are you like, until that first band plays that first note on the stage, I'm not getting too excited?
I'm getting excited already. I think it's more or less safe to say that we will be able to continue with it. This might be some last minute stuff like that we'll have to solve, but that's part of organizing. I think the most important thing is that we can finally do something that we have all those people that have bought tickets more than 2 or maybe 3 years ago. We can finally let them see the bands and to have an atmosphere that is as good as possible. We're trying to, we had some signing sessions in the past. We'll see if we can do this year for people that have their Sortilege albums with them, that want them signed. We always have some kind of a metal market going on too, where people can buy new stuff, t-shirts, albums, all that kind of stuff. And that's a really important thing for us, that just the atmosphere is there. It's not just putting up a show and everybody goes home and that's it. We're really trying to give it a certain sentiment of the festival to make it kind of special.
Two questions to wrap us up. Number one, when that first note is played of that first band, what are you gonna do?
Let's stage dive right immediately. All of the organization, all of the crew will just stage, aside from the crew that's going to catch us, of course.
Hopefully.
We're all going to, we'll just drop there. Festival's over. No, it's going to be a great moment.
For sure.
Definitely going to have a great drink.
Awesome. All right. So, unfortunately, I was supposed to be at the festival at the original date. I won't be able to make it. I won't be in Europe with the new date, but I can't wait to see all the footage and all the fans' reactions. But for all the people that either are going or, like myself, will be there in spirit and will be keeping our eyes open for any live recordings. If we had to put on one album, I'm not even going to ask you for a song, but one album to get in the mood for Blast from the Past 2022, what do you suggest we would play?
I would even dare to say an album not from the current lineup, but from the last one, which is Heavy Metal Maniacs by Exciter. I think that would definitely be, if the festival had an anthem, I think the whole album, that whole album would be it. I'm sure of it. Awesome. So Heavy Metal Maniacs.
There we go. We'll play that right now. Awesome. Well, Robin, thank you so much for your time today. I really do appreciate it. And I hope everything goes extremely smooth with the festival, and then we can see all the next editions coming at us throughout the years. Thank you so much for your time, and I'm sure that we'll hang out soon enough. You are awesome for watching this video. Click right here to see more content like it and subscribe to the channel.